Back now to the record climb in gold. Joining us, Golden Boy, Euro Pacific Capital President Peter Schiff. He is author of the latest book, Why an Economy Grows and Why It Crashes. And of course, as the economies in Europe look like they're crashing, we see gold going to new heights. Peter, do I sell into the gold market at this point, or do I hold on to what I have?
You buy more.
Wow.
What's happening is that governments are trying to make it so that investors can't lose. If you buy Greek government debt, don't worry about a default because we're going to bail them out. Just like here in America, if you own mortgages, don't worry, we're going to bail out Freddie and Fannie. If you loan money to an investment bank and they fail, don't worry. Bailouts for everyone. But, the government doesn't have a magic wand. They can't make losses disappear. All they can do is change the form of those losses. So what's going to happen? Instead of investors losing money, the money is going to lose value. The problem is that affects everybody who owns the currency, not just the people who made bad investments. And so people are starting to figure this out. They want to mitigate those losses in the future. And so they're selling their euros, they're selling their dollars, and they're buying real money, which is gold, which is silver. I think prices are still very cheap. I think they're going a lot higher. I think eventually everybody is going to own gold. It's just the longer they wait, the more it's going to cost them to buy it and the fewer ounces they're going to own.
By the way, we're here to talk about gold, but for a second, talk about oil. For so long, the price of oil has been reflective of the price of gold, certainly more than anything else, or the relationship between the price of gold and the price of the dollar. Why do you think oil is going down so dramatically?
Yeah, I'm still very bullish on oil, and I think oil and industrial metals will rise. But right now, this is more of a monetary move in gold and an anticipatory move. Gold is the most liquid of the commodities. If you're worried about inflation and you want to store your wealth, you don't do it in barrels of oil. You do it in gold bullion. It's very easy to store. It's portable. It's liquid. And so people are trying to protect themselves right now. Oil prices, other metal prices will eventually move. They will catch up. They are going a lot higher. The cost of living in the United States is literally going to go through the roof. Yeah. It is going to become very expensive for Americans to eat.
But one final point on oil, though. If you are bullish on oil, if you think eventually they will rise together again, why not buy in the dip in oil right now?
I own a lot of oil. I own oil. I own gold.
Are you doubling your bet now?
I made significant investments personally in oil drilling up in North Dakota, where I'm investing myself and clients' money in drilling projects, here in the Bakken region in North Dakota. I am extremely bullish on oil. I think it's going to take out the highs, of $150 a barrel. And, if you look where gold is now, yeah, gold is at a new high, but silver is still below its high from March of '08. Gold stocks are still below their highs from March of '08. The speculators aren't even in this market. It is amazing to me that gold is still so cheap. That's how few people have actually figured this out.
So cheap. $1,245 is cheap on gold.
Yeah, well, considering all the money that's been printed, it is dirt cheap. And all the money that's going to be printed. Remember, we have decided in America that we are going to keep interest rates artificially low indefinitely, no matter how high inflation gets. The government is so afraid of letting banks fail, letting Wall Street firms fail, of letting real estate prices go down.
Or even foreign banks fail, or Greece fail. I mean, you name it, they want to bail it out.
Well, but we don't even have the money to bail people out. The money that we're going to give to the IMF, we're borrowing that from China. We're simply printing it. This whole thing is a con game. The politicians around the world are working together to scam the people. They want to keep getting reelected. They don't want to be the bearers of bad news.
Well, the people are waking up.
They've led them down the primrose path.
Peter, the people are waking up to that point, by the way. You wouldn't be running if you didn't think they were. There are changes that are happening in the political sphere. What happens if somebody comes along a year from now and says, okay, we're going to go back to linking the U.S. dollar to gold? What happens to your huge gold pile then?
Well, eventually, if we do go back on a gold standard, it will be with a much higher price of gold. There's no way to link the dollar to gold without gold being much higher. I mean, gold is going to have to be revalued.
If you wanted to do that today, how high would gold have to go?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be, I think it'd be at least 5,000, maybe more, to try to, reset the link that the dollar had. When the dollar was last decoupled from gold, it was $42 an ounce, and that was in 1971. But, we've printed so much money since then. We've expanded the money supply so dramatically, whereas we haven't expanded the gold supply. And if you look at the amount of gold that's actually owned by central banks, it's tiny. Central banks need to buy a lot of gold. They've been selling gold for years. Meanwhile, we haven't mined a lot of gold.
All right,
So,
Peter, we have to go by. I just got to ask you, before the end of the year, how high will gold be? You want to make a guess?
I've been underestimating. I thought gold would be stronger than it has been. I thought it would have been 2,000 much sooner. So I don't know. I mean, it's I've overestimated the intelligence of the average investor to figure this out. So I don't know. Maybe it'll hit 1,500 by the end of the year. Maybe it can get to 2,000. It's hard to know.
Don't
it's going to go
insult
there.
the average
and
investor, though. The average investor knows a lot more than those idiots in Washington, believe me.
They should be buying. And I know, I'm in the process of launching a new company, Euro Pacific Precious Metals. Okay. It's still not fully open yet, but we tried to buy some maple leaves for some people. They were all sold out.
Impossible.
We called a couple of large suppliers. We couldn't even get them.
Peter, we got to leave it at that. Peter Schiff, wonderful to see you again. How to Profit from the Economic Collapse. Great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Have you read the book, the new book?
I've been going through it very, very carefully, so I'm only up to about page 3 now.
You can read the whole book in 2 hours.
All right, thanks.
It's a good read.
Peter, thank you very much.